Good morning. Thanks for joining us here at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Caitlin Francis. We're joining you here at 7 o'clock on the Wax. Thanks so much for watching and waking up with us. We're going to get a check on that forecast, weather and traffic here together every 10 minutes. And meteorologist Jill Gilardi is in with the very latest, not just here locally for us in Connecticut, but obviously all eyes on Hurricane Milton.
Yeah, it's one for the history books, certainly, and we won't have another Hurricane Milton. You just know the kind of devastation it's going to cause. That name will be retired. But our weather is just colder, certainly. I see you were dressed for the elements, both inside and outside, of course. And we're expecting it to be a lot colder feeling, certainly as you step outside. So getting the kiddos ready for the bus stop, they'll need the long sleeves or the light jacket or sweater, and you might too, with the temperature departure pretty significant. So yesterday was very warm to start off, and now we're seeing some 40s out there, even 39 in Salisbury, for example. Jeff up in Staffordville saying it's now down to 40 degrees, 41 Willimantic, 45 in Meriden, but it's 54 down in New Haven. So there are a few spots not quite as chilly. One of the chilly spots is in Waterbury. As you can see, we have clear skies to start off the morning hours. As we take a look at the forecast going through the rest of this morning into the afternoon, temperatures will be climbing into the upper 60s, but not everywhere. Let's take a look at some of the high temperatures across the state, town by town. Getting up to about 63 in Sharon, Litchfield about 64 degrees, Canton 66, near 70 degrees in Suffield, and then a high around 64 Stafford, Plainville 65, 67 Niantic, also in Haddam, and the temperature in Portland getting up to about 67 degrees. So pretty close to normal for this time of year. So beautiful fall day is on tap. Again, we have not seen much in the way of rain across a good chunk of the state. The exception would be southeast. Look at that, over ½ an inch yesterday. So it might have to do some watering today. We'll have the latest regarding Milton coming up here in about 10 minutes. For now, let's get an update on traffic with Caitlin. Good morning.
Good morning, Jill. Good morning again. Yes, good morning, everyone. If you're just joining us here at 7:03, looking to get ready to head out the door, heading to work, bringing the kids to school here this morning, we have some typical delays starting to build through the capital city region, 84 eastbound, just a 35-minute ride, not bad there, but heavier delays down through Fairfield County, 95 southbound, and the Parkway starting to back up more substantially at this point. We're crashing incident free right now. No construction set up, but that will change if you're leaving a little bit later. That daytime construction picks up between 8:30, 9 o'clock typically. So just make sure that you're planning ahead. You will also probably need the sunglasses as you're heading out the door. Nice change from yesterday. Live look outside in Hartford, 91 north and southbound, Waterbury, 84 east and westbound, in and out of the Mixmaster there. A live look in Middletown along Route 9. Things are moving along very well through that area. And in Meriden, 691 east and westbound, that sun could give you a little bit of an issue with the glare there, but other than that, you should be good to go. Let's quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report, driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, our big story today, Milton. People on Florida's coast following orders to get out before Hurricane Milton moves in. This monster storm is expected to hit Florida as soon as tomorrow.
If the hurricane stays on its current track, it will be the worst to hit the Tampa area in more than a century.
All right, let's get started with our team coverage this morning. Roger Susanen is at the First Alert desk with more.
Good morning. Yeah, unfortunately, Hurricane Milton, we now know, could be an absolutely historic storm, which is just some horrible news. I want you to take a look, though, at some video. The storm is already right now impacting Florida. Take a look. This is a coastal town on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. You can see folks are already dealing with some flooding there. And worst of all, we know that, unfortunately, the worst is very likely still to come in Mexico and also here in the U.S. Right now, 12 million Americans are under flood watches and warnings, according to the National Hurricane Center. They say the bottom line is you need to listen to local officials and evacuate if you are told to do so. Listen to those warnings. All right, continuing our team coverage on Hurricane Milton, Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Marcy Jones has the latest on storm preparations that are already well underway.
Good morning, Roger. Well, by the looks of it, people are really heeding the multiple warnings set for Hurricane Milton. We're talking windows boarded up, all outside furniture removed, people executing plans to keep themselves and their families safe. Some have already come here to Connecticut to escape. Mass evacuations have begun. The hurricane threatening the Tampa area with a potential direct hit, and sadly, many in the path are just recovering from Hurricane Helen less than 2 weeks ago. Thousands of Connecticut residents have ties to Florida, whether that comes in the form of having friends, family members, or even a second home there. Earlier, we caught up with some Connecticut residents at Bradley Airport who have ties to Florida. Vacation homeowners tell us that they've tried to mitigate the damage with preparations, and others who were just visiting tell us they couldn't wait to get back to Connecticut. Now, we know that volunteers from AmeriCares out of Stamford and Connecticut chapter of the Red Cross have been helping with the aftermath of Helene. Both groups are expected to assist with Hurricane Milton as well. In the studio, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Marcy, thank you. This morning, a Portland man due in court, Stephen Stolfi, was arrested after his 6-year-old stepson was killed in a go-kart crash at a Meriden Park back in April. You might remember the story.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Olivia Schuler breaking down what we've learned from the arrest warrant.
Tracey and Caitlin, good morning. Well, the arrest warrant details that Stolfi is being charged with 2 counts of risk of injury to a child. Now, we're told from police that Stolfi made that go-kart and it was actually missing several key safety elements. Now, those include a seatbelt as well as a roll cage. Now, a roll cage is made of steel bars that keep the cockpit in place during a crash to protect the driver. The 6-year-old boy was wearing a helmet when he slammed into a gate at Cronenberger Park. Police say the investigation revealed that the go-kart had 2 boys inside of it, aged 6 and 4. The 6-year-old child was driving the go-kart when the incident took place. He was transported to Midstate Medical Center where he later died. The 4-year-old sustained only minor injuries. Now, Stolfi will be in Meriden court here at 10 o'clock this morning. Any developing news that comes out of the courtroom will update you here on the WFSB News app. In Meriden, Olivia Schuler, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
A 7-month-old baby is dead after being left alone in a bathtub. East Haven police aren't suspecting any foul play, but we're told this happened at a home on Redfield Avenue. Police say the baby was found unresponsive, taken to the hospital, and died. Police say everyone involved is cooperating with this investigation.
New details this morning about a shooting we first told you about here on Eyewitness News this morning yesterday. It happened in New Haven, a 21-year-old man in critical condition after police say he was shot in the head and crashed into a porch near Goodyear Street Sunday night. We're making calls, working to learn whether investigators have potential suspects in mind. If you have any information, you are urged to call police.
In Hartford, police are trying to figure out who spray painted "Free Palestine, Bring the War Home" on the sidewalk right outside of the Capitol.
Yeah, they've already removed the message, but the red spray paint still visible yesterday. We're working to learn whether police have leads about the person or people who might have done this.
Yesterday, officials marked 1 year since Hamas's surprise attack on Israel last October. That conflict has only become more intense since that day. Now we're learning new details about Israel's military campaign in Lebanon.
Channel 3's Roger Susanen at the First Alert Desk with the... we'll have to get back to Roger in just a few moments.
All right, let's actually moving out to some new details about a hit and run that left an Avon High School student in the hospital in serious condition. Police say Alex Rivera, that's the driver, hit the 10th grader while they were riding their bike on Arch Road Friday night. The student actually wound up on Rivera's car roof and stayed there for 4 miles before Rivera stopped, pushed the student off, and then drove away. 2 people found that injured teen on Harris Road, called 911, and then police later arrested Rivera. More charges could be on the way.
This morning, we're learning about these wild speeds in Southington. Listen to this. A Woodbury man now facing reckless driving charges after being pulled over on I-84 in Southington. Investigators tell us this man was clocked going 126 miles per hour. It all happened on Sunday, just minutes after police say he picked up a BMW for rental.
All right, it's 7:10 here on the dot. As Hurricane Milton sets its sights on Florida, communities still reeling from the devastation caused by Hurricane Helene less than 2 weeks ago.
Now, thankfully, people in our state are certainly stepping up to help. Along the shoreline, people have been dropping off money, clothes, and supplies to a number of businesses.
They're loading up a trailer right in front of Ron's Guns in East Lyme. The goal there, fill it up, drive it to Granite Falls, North Carolina. There is no exact date for the trailer to leave town, but organizers plan to head out once it's all full, so hopefully people can contribute.
Yeah, and hopefully you can contribute to this very special event. It's a 3 Cares event to help those affected by Helene. Bear Smokehouse is hosting the Hope for Asheville fundraiser tomorrow at 5:30 in New Haven. Tickets are $50, but they include food, entertainment, and a silent auction. All the money going toward the relief efforts in North Carolina.
Lots of really good silent auction items there, and if you can't make it out, you can give a monetary donation, Jill.
That is great news to hear. Always different ways to give. And we are talking about Milton certainly making its way into the record books already in terms of its pressure. So the strength of the storm is ranked 5th lowest, but top 5 you're talking about. So Wilma was all the way at the top at the strongest area of low pressure, 882 millibars. All right, right now it has weakened just a touch, but not by much. Okay, so we're barely under Cat 5 status. It's forecast to become Cat 5 again, and then just barely weaken to a Cat 3 before making landfall late tomorrow night into early Thursday morning near Tampa. And we're talking about the wind field actually expanding. Right now, the strongest wind's been centered right around the eye. It's going to be expanding double time that. So practically the whole state of Florida could see hurricane force wind gusts. So this is something folks have been preparing for. You can see those hurricane warnings extend as far east as Orlando. Locally, our weather is just on the chillier side with upper 40s and low 50s, basically the central part of the state down towards the shoreline, and then the cold spots across the hills with upper 30s and low 40s. And here's what we're headed for as we progress through the next 6 hours. We'll be warming into the lower 60s by lunchtime with bright conditions. And as you can see, our highs will be pretty close to normal today and then falling below that by Thursday. First alert for a little bit of patchy frost. We'll talk more about that coming up in your First Alert 7-day forecast.